Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're going, uh, we're diving deep into the world of Xenophon,
Xenophon.
a figure from ancient Greece,
Yeah.
who you might know as the historian of the 10,000.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we've got a stack of sources here suggesting there's way more to him
Oh, yeah.
than that one famous military campaign.
Absolutely.
Go.
To call Xenophon just a historian is like calling a Swiss Army knife just a knife.
Okay.
He was a soldier, a writer, a philosopher, and even dabbled in economics.
Wow. Okay. Color me intrigued. Let's start with the adventure that made him famous. The Anabasis.
Right.
His account of those 10,000 Greek mercenaries.
Yeah.
Now, to set the stage, this was during a period when Persia was a major power, right?
Yeah. Persia was the major power at that time.
Okay.
And within Persia, there was this power struggle going on. Cyrus the Younger was rebelling against his own brother, King Artaxerxes II.
Oh, wow.
And he hired these Greek mercenaries to bolster his army. Xenophon at this point was just along for the ride as an observer, not even a soldier.
Really? So what went wrong? I'm guessing this rebellion didn't exactly go as planned.
It did not.
Okay.
Cyrus was defeated and killed at the Battle of Cunaxa.
Oh, no.
Suddenly, these 10,000 Greeks are stranded deep in enemy territory, thousands of miles from home with hostile Persians on all sides.
Oh, my goodness.
Talk about a bad vacation.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah.
And this is where Xenophon steps up, right? From observer to leader,
Exactly.
navigating this epic retreat across mountains and deserts.
Precisely.
Oh.
The Anabasis isn't just a thrilling survival story, it's a masterclass in leadership and strategy.
Yeah.
Xenophon had to deal with internal divisions among the Greeks, negotiate with local tribes, and constantly outmaneuver the pursuing Persian forces.
Oh, wow.
The fact that he got even a fraction of those men back to Greece alive is remarkable.
It's incredible to think he was writing all this down as it was happening.
Yeah.
No wonder the Anabasis became his most famous work.
Right.
But you mentioned he wrote more than just military history, right?
Oh, much more.
Okay.
For example,
Yeah.
his Hellenica
Hellenica.
picks up where the historian Thucydides left off, covering decades of Greek history after the Peloponnesian War.
Okay.
A massive conflict that reshaped the entire region.
Wow.
Through the Hellenica, we see Xenophon analyzing the power struggles between Athens, Sparta, and Thebes, and reflecting on the consequences of their decisions.
So he's going from firsthand accounts of battles
Yeah.
to a broader view of Greek politics and strategy.
Exactly.
That's quite a shift.
It is, and it speaks to Xenophon's evolving intellect.
Okay.
But here's where it gets even more interesting.
Okay.
He also wrote a book called the Cyropedia, a sort of fictionalized biography of Cyrus the Great, the founder of the Persian Empire.
Wait, so not the same Cyrus from the Anabasis?
Correct.
Okay.
This is Cyrus the Great, a much earlier figure who lived centuries before.
Right.
And while Xenophon presents it as a biography, scholars agree it's more of a philosophical exploration of ideal leadership.
So Xenophon is using this historical figure to make a point about the kind of leader he admired.
Exactly.
Really?
And it's not just about military strength.
Uh,
Xenophon Cyrus is a wise ruler who focuses on education, justice, and unifying his diverse empire under a common purpose.
wow.
He even advocates for religious tolerance, which was pretty radical for the time.
It sounds like Xenophon is subtly critiquing the political systems of his own day.
Yeah.
Athenian democracy with its factionalism, Spartan militarism with its narrow focus.
Right.
Maybe he was searching for a better model.
That's a very astute observation.
Mm-hmm.
And what's fascinating is that Xenophon himself wasn't just a detached observer of these systems. He was actually deeply connected to Athenian philosophical circles.
Okay.
Do you know who else was in those circles?
You're not going to tell me Socrates was hanging out there, are you?
You guessed it.
Oh, wow.
Xenophon was a student of Socrates alongside Plato. And while Plato's dialogues are more famous, Xenophon also wrote his own Socratic dialogues, offering a different perspective on this enigmatic philosopher.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's fascinating to consider how their different experiences might have shaped their portrayals of Socrates.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, Xenophon was a man of action, a soldier who had seen the realities of war and leadership firsthand.
Right. While Plato was more of a pure philosopher grappling with abstract ideas and ideals.
Exactly. So it's no surprise that Xenophon's Socrates is a bit more practical,
Okay.
more focused on ethics and virtue as they apply to everyday life, while Plato's Socrates delves deeper into metaphysics and epistemology.
So we have these two contrasting views of the same teacher,
Right.
adding another layer of complexity to Xenophon's legacy.
Exactly.
It makes you wonder how much of their own beliefs and experiences seeped into their portrayals of Socrates.
It's a question that historians still debate today,
Yeah.
but it also highlights the inherent subjectivity of history.
Right.
We're always seeing the past through the lens of those who wrote about it.
And that brings us back to Xenophon's own historical writings.
guess.
In his Hellenica, he wasn't afraid to criticize the leaders of his time,
No.
even those he might have admired. For instance, he points out the flaws in both Athenian democracy and Spartan militarism, suggesting they weren't living up to their ideals.
He was particularly critical of the Spartan general Lysander, who, despite his military successes, became increasingly arrogant and power-hungry.
Oh, wow.
Xenophon saw this as a dangerous path, one that ultimately led to instability and decline.
So even as he's chronicling these events, he's offering a subtle critique of the political landscape of his time.
Exactly.
It's almost like he's saying, look, there's a better way to lead.
Precisely. And that's where Cyropedia comes in.
Okay.
By presenting Cyrus the Great as this model ruler, Xenophon is offering an alternative vision of leadership. Cyrus wasn't just a conqueror. He was a builder, a unifier who focused on creating a stable and prosperous society for all his subjects.
And that vision was rooted not just in military might, but in education justice and a shared sense of purpose.
Exactly.
It sounds like Xenophon was advocating for a more holistic approach to leadership,
Yes.
one that recognized the importance of moral character and social cohesion.
Absolutely. And that's what makes Xenophon so relevant today.
Okay.
We live in a world where leadership often seems transactional, focused on short-term gains and personal ambition. Xenophon reminds us that true leadership is about serving something larger than ourselves, about building a society that is both strong and just.
His ideas about leadership seem incredibly modern.
Yes.
Considering he was writing over 2,000 years ago.
They are remarkably enduring.
Yeah.
Think about the challenges we face today. Political polarization, economic inequality, environmental degradation.
Yeah.
These are complex problems that require a kind of leadership that transcends partisan divides and focuses on the common good.
Xenophon seems to be saying that true leadership is not about wielding power over others, but about empowering them to reach their full potential.
Exactly. And that's a message that resonates deeply, regardless of your political beliefs or background. Xenophon challenges us to think about leadership not just in terms of individual charisma or military prowess, but in terms of character vision and a commitment to creating a just and flourishing society.
Yeah, it's amazing how Xenophon was able to weave together these ideas of leadership, strategy, and philosophy, drawing on his own experiences and reflecting on the world around him. And it makes his work feel incredibly relevant even today.
And let's not forget his skill as a storyteller.
Oh, yeah?
The Anabasis in particular is a gripping read. He doesn't just recount the facts. He brings the journey to life with vivid descriptions of the landscapes, the battles, and the personalities of the people he encountered along the way.
You can almost feel the exhaustion of the march, the tension of the battles, and the camaraderie that developed among those soldiers facing impossible odds. It's a testament to his ability to connect with readers on an emotional level, even across centuries.
And that's what makes history come alive, isn't it? When we can see the human stories behind the events, we start to understand the motivations, the fears, the hopes that shape the course of history.
Xenophon doesn't just tell us what happened. He helps us understand why it happened and what it meant for the people who lived through it.
Exactly.
And he does so with a clarity and directness that makes his work accessible to anyone, even those who aren't history buffs.
That's one of the things I admire most about Xenophon. He was a scholar and a thinker, but he never lost sight of the human element. He was able to bridge the gap between the ivory tower and the real world, making his ideas both profound and practical.
And that's a valuable lesson for all of us, isn't it?
It is.
Whether we're leaders, thinkers, or simply trying to navigate the complexities of life, we can learn from Xenophon's example. He reminds us to stay grounded, to connect with others, and to seek wisdom wherever we can find it.
He also reminds us that learning is a lifelong pursuit. Xenophon wasn't afraid to challenge his own assumptions, to explore new ideas, and to grow as a thinker and a human being throughout his life. And that's something we can all aspire to.
Well said. This deep dive into Xenophon has been a real eye-opener.
It has.
He's so much more than just the Anabasis guy. He's a complex and fascinating figure whose work offers timeless insights into leadership strategy, philosophy, and the human condition.
I'm so glad we had the chance to explore his world together.
Me too.
I have a feeling we'll be revisiting his work many times in the future.
And I encourage our listeners to do the same.
Yes.
Pick up a copy of the Anabasis, the Cyropedia, or any of his other works. You won't be disappointed.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Xenophon. Until next time.
See you then.